Hello students, today we'll study about the hormonal coordination. Now you can see the pictures, hormonal coordination that is in my younger son puzzled by many events which are happening around us. Now these are the some of the events you can study. These are only to just look upon. Mother who is around 50 often get irritated. So these are the events which are due to the hormonal coordination, or we can say imbalance, disturbed coordination. What will happen around 50s? They will get irritated, mothers, which voice can be changed but not of his elder sister. Then some boys they are tall, some are short. Now girls in his class develop the feminine figure. Then elder boys they will show the beard. These are the some of the characters which are due to the hormonal coordination. Why mother of younger born locate, okay, like that. Then there are many more questions also, but the answers is only one, that is the magician behind all these events are the chemical messengers known as the hormones. Now whatever the changes are happening in our body according to the age, okay, according to the age, the differences which is seen, it is due to the hormones. That is, the magician behind all these events are the chemical messengers known as the hormones. Now in the earlier we have learned that it is linked to the nervous coordination. Now nervous coordination is only the main coordination which brings about the rapid coordination of different body activities. Number of processes are like growth, reproduction, okay, they requires duration rather than speed. Then events are coordinated and they are means changes chemically, they are called as hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers which are produced in different glands. Okay, so these are the human body, male and female. These are the endocrine system of male and female: pineal, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, adrenal cortex, kidney, pancreas, testes, ovaries and uterus. Okay, then now what we are going to study in this, that is the cellular elements of this controlling mechanism. It can be scattered or in group to the tissues or in the form of discrete organs. They are called as endocrine glands. Mechanism of mechanism of coordination is therefore function of two systems. Now here the nervous system and the endocrine system, which are integrated and considered as a neuroendocrine system. Okay, nervous system and endocrine system, they are integrated. They are called as a neuroendocrine system. Then the endocrine glands are of special glands. Now here you can see, depending on the mode of secretion, the glands are of two types: exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Okay. Now first is the exocrine gland. Now what is this exocrine gland? Produces secretion which are discharged on free surfaces and are carried by their ducts. They are called as exocrine glands. Depending on the mode of secretion, glands are of two types: exocrine, endocrine. Exocrine gland produces secretion which are discharged on free surfaces and are carried by the ducts. These glands are external secretion. Example is sweat, salivary, mammary, pancreas, liver. Next is the endocrine glands. These are the glands of internal secretion which do not have duct system and release their secretion directly into the bloodstream. Therefore, they are known as the ductless gland. Now here you can see the figure, exocrine gland. Okay, here you can see the gland cells are there. Here endocrine glands. You can see hormones secreting the endocrine glands. Blood into the capillaries network. You can see here. Okay, this is endocrine gland, that is ductless gland. Whatever the cells are there or secretion is there, it is directly sent to the bloodstream. Therefore, they are called as a ductless gland. The endocrine glands are richly vascularized. Now here you can see in the next figure endocrine glands and the hormones. In this figure you can see everything where which type of glands are there. Endocrine glands and the hormones, the control and coordination is carried out by the nervous system and the endocrine system, which are integrated and considered as neuroendocrine system. The endocrine glands are of special type of glands. The glands are internal secretion and do not have duct system and release their secretion directly into the bloodstream. Therefore, they are known as a ductless gland. Then what are the function of endocrine gland? Their general function is to synthesize and release into the circulation, that is the special chemical messengers called as hormones. They are carried by the bloodstream to influence the functioning of specific target organs or tissues of the body as a whole. The regulatory role may be either excitation or inhibition. Then the word hormone. Now what do you mean by the word hormone? Hormone is to excite. Therefore, it is a misnomer. Okay. Then common properties of hormones. Hormones are produced in response to the specific stimulus. The rate of secretion varies from low to very high depending on nature and intensity of the stimulus. Hormones are secreted independently of one another. They are produced in one organs and show the effect on distinct target organs. Hormones are carried through the blood in very small amount. Hormones are bound to the specific carrier proteins while being transported into the blood. Hormones, they have high degree of target specificity. Each hormones act basically by modifying some aspects of cellular metabolism. Hormones are catalytic in their effect, means they break down. What is the meaning of this? That means they break down the enzyme molecules. They tend to have long latent period. Hormones in the blood and tissues are continuously inactivated, excreted from the body. The excessive secretion of deficiencies of hormones may lead to serious disorders. Now here you can see the main endocrine glands in human body. What are they? What are the main glands in the human bodies? Okay, endocrine glands. First one is the pituitary gland, that is the hypothalamus. This one, pituitary gland, or this is the pituitary gland, this is hypothalamus. This is the main endocrine gland. Second one is the thyroid and parathyroid gland. Here you can see thyroid and parathyroid gland. This is parathyroid, this is thyroid. Next one is the adrenal gland. Okay, adrenal gland above the kidney, adrenal gland. Then you have islets of Langerhans in pancreas. This is the pancreas. Then endocrine parts of gonads, that is the testes and ovaries. These are the testes and these are the ovaries. This is the ovaries. Okay. Pancreas, you can see. Islets of Langerhans. Here they have shown. Okay. So these are the main endocrine glands. Now first we shall study about the pituitary gland. What is the pituitary gland? That is hypophysis. It is also called as a hypophysis. You can see here. This is the whole pituitary gland. Okay. The pituitary gland was formerly known as the master endocrine gland because all the other endocrine glands are under the control of the pituitary hormones. But now it is known as the pituitary gland itself under the control of hypothalamus. This is hypothalamus. Pituitary may be considered as a coordinator of endocrine orchestra. Then, what is the position now? Pituitary gland. Position: hypophysis, that is pituitary gland. Here you can see the position of, this is the skull. Okay, this is nasal passage, that is nose, and here you can see this, it is enlarged, you can see here very nicely. Hypothalamus, posterior, anterior. Okay, then it is located close to the ventral aspects of the brain, below the hypothalamus, to which it is attached by hypophyseal stalk, that is infundibulum, just behind the optic chiasma. This is the optic chiasma. This is hypothalamus, and this is the infundibulum. Okay, so it is close to the ventral aspects of the brain, below the hypothalamus. This is hypothalamus. It is below the hypothalamus, to which it is attached to the hypophyseal infundibulum. This is the infundibulum, behind the optic chiasma. This is the optic chiasma, behind this. Okay, so this part, pituitary gland. It is well protected in a depression of the sphenoid bone of the skull called as scala tucisa. This is scala tucisa. Can you see here? Scala tucisa. That means the pituitary gland, it is protected here. Pituitary gland is ectodermal and endodermal in origin and develops from nervous tissue and epithelial tissue. Okay. Next, morphology of pituitary gland. Now you can see morphology of this pituitary gland. Pituitary gland shows two distinct regions. First one is the adenohypophysis or anterior lobe. This is the anterior lobe or adenohypophysis. Then second one is the neurohypophysis. This one is neurohypophysis or the posterior lobe. We shall see the first one, that is adenohypophysis or anterior lobe. It is the largest lobe of the gland and forms about 75% region. It is further divided into three regions: pars tubularis. Here you can see pars tubularis. Then you have pars distalis, and the third one is the pars intermedia. Okay, this one. This is the pars intermedia. Pars tubularis, pars distalis, and pars intermedia. First is pars tubularis. It is tubular region present below the hypothalamus. It is a collar around the infundibulum. Pars distalis. It is the largest anterior region made up of loose cords, epithelioid secretory cells separated by the reticular connective tissue containing blood sinusoids. It is connected to the hypothalamus by portal system formed by blood sinusoids. Pars intermedia. It is narrow cleft between the pars distalis and pars nervosa of neurohypophysis. It is reduced, less developed and non-functional in human being. Then next is neurohypophysis, that is the posterior lobe. Position: it is the posterior lobe of the gland attached to the hypothalamus by infundibular stalk. Can you see here? It is attached by the infundibular stalk. This is the stalk. It is smaller, constitutes about 25% of. Then it is divided into three parts. First one is the median eminence. It is swollen median part of hypothalamus where infundibulum gets attached. Then you have infundibulum. This part, infundibulum. Then it is hypophyseal stalk. Can you see? Which helps attachment of this pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. It contains mainly the axonic fibers and neurosecretory cells present in the hypothalamus. Third one is the pars nervosa. Can you see here? Pars nervosa. It is lowermost larger region of the neurohypophysis and contains axons in between the pituocytes. Now what is this? Pituocytes, cells of the pituitary gland, they are called as pituocytes. Then axonic fibers end in knob called hearing bodies. They release neurohormones. Okay. Then, now hormones of the pituitary gland and their role. First is the hormones of pars distalis. It is a part of adenohypophysis or anterior lobe. Now which hormone it is released? That is somatotrophic hormone, STH, or growth hormone. Okay. Then the secretion of growth hormone is under the control of hypothalamus. You can see here growth hormone releasing factor, growth hormone inhibiting factor. Then you have long-term effect of growth hormone is general growth of the body. Then function, the principal action of promotion of linear growth in the skeleton, increase in the size of the muscles, connective tissue. It promotes protein synthesis, lipolysis in adipose tissue to release more fatty acids. It promotes growth of bones by absorption of calcium. Hypersecretion of growth hormone in childhood leads to gigantism, and in adult it leads to acrom- acromegaly. Okay, in adults it leads to acromegaly, and in childhood it leads to gigantism. We shall see these both disorders in detail in the further class. Okay, thank you.